Welcome back to the Reptiles With Podcast. Today we're hanging out in Jacksonville, Florida at the Repticon Reptile Show. Before we get super crazy with it, we got memberships on YouTube. So if you're watching this on YouTube, check that out. We have merch. We have coffee at modernreptileshop.com. This episode was brought to you by Repticon Reptile Shows. Eric, we're hanging out at the show, man. How are you feeling?
Doing good.
Dude, you're fucking certified now.
I'm certified. I am licensed.
Yes.
Licensed to sell and educate.
Yes. Something that Eric and I have been working on for a long time is we're trying to do some like educational shows, like some kids' birthday parties, going out to like different events and stuff like that. But for the longest time, Eric has not been able to get his Class 3 license here in Florida.
Bureaucracy.
Yeah,
takes forever.
It's a long process. I mean, I remember last year, mine took like 3 months. It was forever. And I have to redo mine now before Daytona. So I'm already behind. So you finally have it. How does it feel to be super legal?
It feels great.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't talk or anything when people come up to sell and stuff like that just because like I don't have any credentials, but now I have credentials.
Yeah.
I got my pay to play, so I can play now.
Well, the thing is dude, like, regardless, you're behind my tables and I have my license.
But it's like, it's different because now
So
I
you
can sell.
have that extra notch of security.
I have that degree, you know?
That is so funny.
I'm a second degree vendor.
Yeah.
And first degree educator.
There we go. So 2 days ago, we recorded a podcast. I don't know the order that I'm going to be releasing them, so I don't know if it's coming out before this or after this, but we could touch a little bit briefly on the Thylacine situation, because there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out.
I mean, we pretty much covered most of the bases with Chuck and everybody else.
But now that a couple days have passed, like, how are you feeling about the situation? Are you believing it or are you not believing it?
I have to believe as default because it's my favorite animal.
Yeah.
I like it too much to completely say no, because I never say no to that kind of stuff because I like the idea that stuff like that is happening.
Yeah.
But it's just like, man, it really does look like it's a little too good for me.
Yeah.
You know, people can be good at acting. The kid, despite all the red flags with his interview and how he is, he seems credible because of how realistic.
For reference, photos came out. Okay, so for reference, a Thylacine was a cryptid, and then was
it's
like
not a cryptid.
It originally was a cryptid. Originally, that's what it was. It was like, oh, this was this random fucking thing. Is it real or is it not? And then they find out that, oh, it was a real thing. It's just not extinct. It's not. It doesn't exist anymore. It's extinct.
I guess.
And then Forrest Galante is like obsessed with the thing, wants to know more information about it, tries to go find it.
He's been scouting and getting things from all over people, or not all over the world. Australia, Tasmania, and Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
And so, he's always getting stuff from them. And some kid who was on vacation got pictures and basically sent them to him.
And Eric, which we didn't touch too much on the podcast, so this is why I'm bringing it up again, or precursor to, is you're a big fan of that kind of stuff, specifically the Thylacine. Yeah.
I mean, I like cryptids as a whole, but the Thylacine seems like, as far as extinct species go, I think the Thylacine, there's a couple species on top of it, but I think that is a solid one that could still be alive to some extent. But I don't know, because I haven't done a lot of research on like technology for looking for animals and actual biological research. And now that I've looked into a lot of stuff, it's like, I feel like we could have found something. But again, there's not a lot of people going to these places. Besides Australia and Tasmania. I'm sure people have gone up and down those hills, There's enough people there to have seen stuff.
I agree with you. And I think that now technology is at a place where we have so much access to stuff because things are so easy now. So maybe more of those things are coming out now.
I would hope that we can implement that more. But also, people aren't going to everywhere that the Thylacine used to live.
Yeah.
And I always say this every time we talk about it. I do think that if it is still alive, Papua is going to be the place to find it.
Yeah.
Because nobody goes there.
Well, hopefully those photos are real. We're at the show. Let's talk a little bit of show. We haven't been able to walk. We're about to bring on some guests on the podcast. We brought always ball pythons. I got some Brettles pythons.
Got stripes.
We got some striped mud turtles. We got some red cheek mud turtles.
This is the best presentation that we've had.
Oh, 100%.
And it's only gonna get better.
Yeah, I'm gonna put some of the videos up on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I'm obsessed with Super Table.
Super Table,
Yeah. So at this show, depending on the show that you go to, there's either 6 foot or 8 foot tables, and then they could be different widths. And I know this is like very inside baseball, and it's like so specific talk, but at this show, the tables are long, but they're very skinny. So to be able to put up a tiered display for like ball pythons, you can't do all 3 levels. You can only do 2 levels. So what we did is we put the tables back to back, and we just created 2 big, because we have 4 tables. We created 2 big block tables. So we have Super Table. I'm going to put pictures of Super Table up too.
People are looking at it too. They're like, how'd they do that? I'm like,
for real?
Yeah.
I love Super Table. Super Table is powerful, dude.
Powerful as hell.
Yeah, man. Pull up some of the videos. Let's watch some videos.
What are we looking at?
Yeah, we're just getting started, man. It's I'm excited for the show. I got honestly really good energy. We recorded that podcast 2 days ago, and it went great. Yes. Tino was back on it. So we're just all full of good energy right now. So what did you think about this video right here? I guess we could do this one first.
I haven't seen that. What is that? Oh, I sent that. Yeah. That is one of those big-ass saltwater isopods, basically. Yeah. They're so cool. They look like animatronics.
Yeah, dude. So, like, obviously, we see isopods at the show all the time. And then there's this. This is giant isopod.
That's a big isopod right there.
Yeah, so that's on Forrest Galante's channel. That's super cool.
Everything on land has a saltwater counterpart that's like extreme in some way. It's either super big, super tiny, jacked, always something.
Yeah. What's up, Jack? This is by far the best job. Yeah.
Ashley Abelmar says that working with animals and being outside
there you go.
helps take his mind off the time he's serving inside.
When I'm here, all the worries that I have on myself, it takes it away from me. I don't even exist. I'm here to just, serve a higher purpose, taking care of these animals, making sure they see tomorrow and the next and the next.
And then, did you watch this video of the croc in the tree?
Photographer captures leopard eating a crocodile in a tree. I'm interested. I mean, this leopard has taken this croc up into the tree just so it can enjoy its meal alone and in solitude?
Yeah, so leopards always do that, whether they're killing an impala or anything else. What's unusual about this is not the behavior. One, the photos are fantastic. That's the main thing. But two is the fact that you're seeing a leopard that successfully killed and is now trying to covet this crocodile, because that's what's unusual. In Africa, unlike in the Pantanal with the jaguars, in Africa, leopards don't often choose to prey on crocodiles. It's too dangerous. If you're a leopard, you go down to the water, you drink, you get the hell out of there as quickly as you can.
So I wonder if the croc was came up out of the water a little bit and then was headed back and it got it by the tail?
Yeah, traveling over land, could be in a small pan, what we call a pan, which is like a puddle, basically, like a seasonal puddle.
So when you see, I know that this is, we've talked a lot about Forrest recently. When you see the stuff that Forrest Galante does, is that where your head is at with stuff that you want to do? Because I know that you're not just into reptiles.
No, I like everything.
Yeah.
It's just reptiles are there and easy to work with and accessible.
It was easy. It was accessible.
Easy access. It's an introductory industry.
Yeah.
But I'd like to do stuff like him. Like finding the extinct stuff. I mean, that's
literally
insane.
Yeah.
Which I would totally do if I had the time and the money and all that crazy stuff. But yeah, I'd like to do general wildlife stuff. That's kind of my next goal with animals. I want to see if I can get some sort of job or some sort of experience working with either birds or mammals, just anything. I just want to get more stuff under my belt. Because honestly, I've done the reptile stuff since I was a little kid. I don't want to say that I know everything, but I've fulfilled my cup. I'm doing everything that I want to do, or at least finishing. The last thing is just to get the breeding itch out of the way.
I wouldn't say finishing. I would say that you are you're so dumb. You are doing the thing.
Yeah,
you're actually doing the thing now.
Yeah.
It's not it's not a dream. You're in the middle of it. Yeah. I don't think you've reached the finish line yet.
I don't think so
Once you
either.
start getting babies, obviously you've had your striped mud turtles, but once you start getting snakes that are being born, you're gonna see that a different passion go through.
Yeah, I've set up a nice, hopefully steady kind of side thing that I can make some extra money with and have fun doing.
Yeah.
Because I'm also trying to see at the same time if I can get out of animals and see if there's something else in the world that I find enjoyable to put some time and effort into. Because to be fair, everyone who works with animals will say the same thing. There's no money in this. There is money if you know how to play your cards right, but you have to really devote your time and effort into it.
I think that you've let a lot of negative people influence you. Because if you listen, look, this is Reptiles with Therapy right now.
God.
If you listen to a couple of the things that you just said right now, Eric, you said you're at the end of it. You've said you're trying to do things out of animals, and you've said that there's no money. So you've shot yourself in the foot.
3 times.
3 times you shot yourself in the foot.
Hell yeah.
But the reality is that you're in the middle of accessing a part of your dream, okay? When you say that you're trying to get out of it, you are not trying to get out of it. You are trying to do other things outside of animals because it is a hobby. It's not a business for you. Where a lot of people aim for a business and it to be their whole life, you're trying to do other things also. Yeah. So if you change a little bit of that mentality, that'll go a long way. And then what was the other thing you shot yourself in the foot with?
I already forgot.
Yeah, whatever it was. Oh, there's no money in it. There's no money in it.
There is.
There is money in it. Okay, but it doesn't. It doesn't have to engulf your whole life. If you don't want it to, you can get it to pay for itself. If it's a hobby for you, it's okay for it to be a hobby for you. And it's something that we've spoken a lot about is that if you don't want it to be a business, it doesn't have to be. Get out of it what you need, and make sure that you're respecting your animals, and just have a good experience. Have a good time.
Doing just enough that I feel fulfilled, and I'm not sacrificing my morals and ethics.
Yeah, and that's pretty much.
That's all I need.
That's pretty much what this is about. And again, we're positive vibes. I'm super excited for the show. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or can we start bringing on some guests?
Let's talk to people.
All right, let's do it. Sir Paul McIntyre.
Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
Awesome.
We're hanging out at Repti-Con.
Yep.
Something. I mean, I know I've spoken to you on this before.
Yep.
But I don't think we got to talk about your venomous stuff.
No, I think at that point I had shifted all my venomous to stones because I was in between moving.
Oh, okay.
So I couldn't keep everything. So I had another licensed keeper hold my stuff for me.
Okay.
For a few months while I got my permit renewed.
Okay.
So I got my permit renewed back, and everything is back at home now. Thank you to Stone for really helping me out.
Did you ever watch the podcast we did with Stone?
Yeah.
Dude,
absolutely.
He's a fucking
fantastic,
awesome
bro.
dude, man.
People have no idea what's coming. His facility is going to be awesome.
Dude,
like everything he does.
When we were there, he just started building what he said he was gonna put like monitors or whatever.
Yep.
And they're just like these I don't know how to describe it. He paved like walkways, and then in between the walkways, he's having those enclosures. Bro,
you should see it now.
Oh my god,
it's insane.
We have to go back to Stones.
Yeah,
that was my favorite podcast that we've ever done.
They've been building like a tiki style hangout.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's unreal.
When we went over there, I don't think I posted too much about it, but he started showing us some of the animals, and if I'm being super honest with you, I have no experience with that stuff. Mm-hmm. I didn't know how to act. I didn't know how to whatever. He took out miscellaneous cobra, let's say, and he's very comfortable with it and whatever. But it started like moving around, dude. I visibly I looked fine. Yeah. Inside, dying. I was freaking the fuck out. I was like, oh fuck. Yeah, he had it under control, but dude, it's cool.
It's a great hobby to be in. It's my passion. I have really no ambition to like reproduce or sell or anything like that. It's just for me. Okay. And don't get me wrong, I'd like to reproduce stuff, but I don't feel super comfortable selling to the public just because you don't know who they are and what experience.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, it's selling a ball python or a colubrid or something like that to someone, you worry about the animal, but you don't worry about the person.
Yeah, of course.
Sell somebody a cobra or a rattlesnake, and now you're worried about not just the animal, but now you're worried about the person.
It's on you at some point, I guess. Yeah.
So, but I mean, we got all our stuff back, so we don't have a ton. We've got a bush viper. We have a pair of South American rattlesnakes.
Okay.
We have a puff adder, and then I have a snouted cobra.
Okay.
So we're hopefully looking to add some stuff, maybe end of this summer. We'll add some more things, but I'm not really sure what yet.
Okay.
Maybe some more bush vipers because they don't take up a ton of space and they're small and manageable.
Okay.
If I get anything that's going to get big, obviously the token gaboon viper. Everybody's got to have one. Everybody loves them. Doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
That's a snake everybody loves.
How's the family with the venomous stuff?
Everybody's good. The kids are older now, and that's what I waited for.
Oh,
so
okay.
Aiden's the youngest, and he knows. He usually spots for me. So he'll come in and watch and make sure nothing bad happens. But we don't really have anything that's crazy now. Everything's pretty simple to work,
Okay.
So, I mean, even the biggest, craziest stuff is boring.
Okay.
So, I mean, you just it's a different type of handling.
Okay, cool. How's what's up with the albino gaboon viper that photos started going around?
So Ryan Gradney, good friend of ours, brought in an import from Africa and brought in the first albino gaboon vipers and hets. So obviously,
there's hets also?
Yeah, obviously.
Oh,
I think Tyler has a pair, a het and an albino. I'm not sure where the other ones went to, but pictures do those snakes zero justice. Videos, zero justice. If you stand in front of that snake, there's no explanation under the color.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible.
That's sick,
Tyler is so lucky to have one of those. I can't even, like, I don't know if I'd ever leave the room.
Yeah.
They are that interesting to look at, like, and super chill. They weren't really bad at all. So
yeah, I definitely like to know more information about him. Hopefully he's at Daytona and we could talk about it. He did the podcast like a couple years ago, the Daytona one.
Yeah.
And that's exciting.
Yeah, his collection's grown quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's got some cool stuff.
All right.
But those arguably, like I said, to see him in person, there's no comparison. So.
Yeah. So you got venomous stuff. You're always having your 3D printed stuff. And since the last time we spoke, now you're starting to print some merch and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we're doing direct-to-film printing for T-shirts, hats, other garments, sweatshirts, hoodies, stuff like that. Okay. We're going to kind of pivot towards more of that stuff. But the reason we did it was to help the reptile community. So we can try to keep our prices as low as we can. Obviously, we make a little bit. That's what we're in business for, all of us. But we want to help everybody out. We have no minimum orders, no minimum. There's no minimum to it. When I was looking for T-shirts, I only wanted a half dozen, and it was like $35 a T-shirt.
Okay.
Can't justify spending that much money.
Yeah.
So that's why we looked into this and said, hey, how can we help the small breeder that just wants a half dozen T-shirts?
Yeah.
And this is what we came up with. We invested the money, and here we are today.
When I was touring, we used to get our shirts single color. I mean, this was 2014. Single color on a black gilded tee, and they were like $3-4 a shirt. Yeah. It's crazy how expensive things have gotten.
Yep. So for like a heavy cotton shirt, which is, I tell everybody, it's the worst shirt you can get.
Yeah.
It feels like a cardboard box over your body. So we source great, soft style or next level. We Gildan soft style, next level, Bella canvas. We can get whatever you want.
Yeah.
But I push people to say, hey, if you want to save money, these are the shirts to get. And it was tough because until I really figured out what was in our area, how do you know what a shirt feels like? So I went online and just ordered, 3-4 dozen shirts, and I'm like, okay, this is gross, throw that one out. Oh, this is gross, throw that one out.
And not to nerd out so much about specific brands of shirts, but I specifically try to print comfort colors. Yeah. Even though they are a more pricier garment, and this is to the people that want to have merch.
Comfort colors are awesome too.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think about your brand as a business owner when you're coming to these shows. You want people to wear your shirt not only because they want to support you, because they like the design, but they want to feel nice. And a good shirt that fits you right, that is so important.
I'm going to tell you what another print-on-demand seller told me. People buy your merch to support you. They wear it because it's comfortable.
Yeah.
So somebody will buy one shirt from you no matter what it is because they're supporting you, right?
Yep.
But when they put it on, if it feels gross, they're just going to take it off. It's going to go in the bottom of their drawer, and that's where it's going to stay.
I have a lot of shirts like that.
So do I.
100%.
My wife just told me not too long ago. She's like, what are all these?
Those are the shirts that I wear when I'm going to get dirty.
Yes. Yeah. When you're cleaning outside, you're doing snake or rat. Yeah, 100%. But that's it. People don't realize that. And, the other thing that drives me nuts, listen, everybody that gets a logo done should be requesting the right file. Every file you can get. I tell everybody there's a saying, garbage in, garbage out. Yep. If you send me a screenshot of your logo that's a JPEG, when I blow it up to put it on a shirt, it's going to look like a cloud.
I was actually talking to a graphic designer that's working on another reptile breeder's logo, and she showed it to me, and I was like, dude, the logo looks amazing. But something as simple as this, I'm like, but you have gradients in the color, the gradients isn't going to print right. So you're either going to have to give them that logo plus a printable logo, but you have to think about all these things when you're creating something for your business.
I am by no means, I graphic stuff I'm terrible with. Yeah. So I try to get the best, like, hey, send me your logo. I try to do the best I can. I got a couple people.
You can only do so much.
But with DTF printing now, there's ways to print gradient if you're printing on a certain color shirt. So if your logo has a black gradient, you can take that gradient and, I forget the name of it. There's a way to manipulate it so now that black gradient is part of the black shirt.
Okay.
But you couldn't do that on a purple or a blue because it's not going to look right.
Of course.
So there's ways to do it, and if people just request, you want a printable design for a T-shirt, a hat, a sweatshirt, your logo can be anything. If you want it to be that real cool, but like you said, a gradient with silk screen or DTF or direct to garment or sublimation or vinyl, any gradient's not going to work.
Of course,
So people I just don't think people are educated on it. It's not a bad thing. That's what we're here for. But, if you request it right up front and say, hey, I want all this. This is what am I paying for? That's the most important. I've heard of people getting just a JPEG. That's all they sent me. Well, get a hold of them. Oh, they don't have anything else. All it is saving. They've designed the file. It's just saving it in a different. So we got to know as people in this community how to do it so that we don't, kind of screw ourselves.
Cool. So you got your shirts, you got your venomous snakes. What else is cool and exciting happening for you?
So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but we may have a clutch of baby boas this year. It'll be our first time. So we've got my wife's boa that she's had for 6 years. My daughter bought her for Mother's Day. We believe is gravid. She's huge. We did ultrasound before. She had some nice big follicles.
Okay.
So we'll see.
That's exciting stuff.
My son, he's got some Brettles. He's got the pair of stripes and a het stripe.
Nice.
So we're going to cycle them this year and try to get them going. We've got some IJs or Popwins. Ball pythons, we have a few of those, some colubrid, just kind of a hodgepodge of stuff.
Okay.
But primarily our work right now is the 3D prints and the t-shirt stuff.
Okay.
And that's, the reptiles are more of a hobby, and, we're here, so when we produce stuff, we did not pair a lot of ball pythons this year. We purposely pulled back just because of the market.
Yeah.
So, some of the stuff that we were kind of excited to produce this year, we just, we held on to the animals, our adults, we held on to them. But, at the end of the day, we'll wait and see what comes of it.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of, looking into the stuff that we've been producing, and especially with the ball pythons, I know that I said it a lot on the podcast for, the past 3 years. It's we're in this, cycle right now where we're trying to move things around. But now it's getting to the point where we're just looking at our ball pythons and we're like, what are we going to liquidate?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot going on in the market, and it's we have to move some of this stuff out and make space for the things that we care about. And I was talking with Eric earlier that it's going to be on this episode where he was saying, he was being a little bit negative about his projects. And I was telling him, bro, it's okay to be a hobbyist. What you're saying.
Yeah.
Where me, I know that I want to do this as a business, so I have to look at this stuff and I'm well, I need to figure something out because it needs to be profitable. This is what's supposed to be the main thing that I'm doing. But
I think right now the most important aspect of our industry is right now it's the pet end.
Yeah.
I think we're in a pet cycle where it's not a bad thing to sell a $200 snake.
Of course.
Because that person may come back in 6 months and buy another $200 snake.
Yep.
And once you know how it is, once you get the bug, those are going to be the people that you want to educate on that. There's nothing wrong with investment quality stuff, but I think right now we're in that, economic growth, people being tighter with their money. It's there. They're just tighter with it. They're not frivolously spending. So like you said, as a business owner or as a business, you need to pivot to what the market is demanding.
Yep.
As a hobbyist, we can kind of play with stuff and just say, hey, you know what, I'm just not gonna breed that female this year.
Yeah.
Just feed her for the year. It's not a big deal. We can't look at it as being mad, because there's projects that I have at home I probably feel the same way he does.
Yeah.
There is. Yeah. We all do that, where you buy something and you're like, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's there, and we take care of it the same, and we have fun with it.
Yeah. And that's something that you said right there. We take care of it the same. I think there's a little bit too many instances in this hobby where you don't take care of the stuff that you're selling as well as the stuff that you're keeping.
Yeah.
And that's a bad thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to do is hatch out a clutch of ball pythons and say, hey, and I'm not picking on ball pythons, good Lord. That's not what I mean. You hatch out a clutch of snakes, you say, hey, I'm going to keep this one and this one. Well, the other 3, maybe you only feed every 2 weeks, but the other ones you feed every week. Why? Yes, it's less money, I get it, but at the end of the day, like, that's not good for the animal, nor is it good for the people it's going to buy. They want to buy a snake that's healthy and is going to grow fast, and they're going to be excited. If they're excited about what you're selling them, then they're going to come back.
Yeah.
And they're going to buy more. So I think the industry as a whole needs to make a few small changes, but I think we're going in the right direction.
I think so too. I see a lot of trends happening just walking around, like looking at some of these tables. And better displays, more accessibility for bioactive, more education. Yes. The customer base is asking different questions. Yeah. Obviously you're always going to get people that want something cheap, that are lowballing you. That's normal for any industry.
I was going to say, anything.
Yeah. But now I'm seeing, especially like younger kids, like just a lot more educated, a lot more excited.
There's nothing cooler. So we were in Fort Walton. Okay. I was with Alvaro from Clover's Hognose. So, little girl comes up with her family, and the mom asks for her to hold a hognose, and you know the drill, rear fang, blah blah blah. Takes the hognose out, and I have never seen this. This little girl couldn't have been more than 6. She walked that snake through her hands. When it started to move fast, she set it down on the table, scooped it back up. Like Alvaro looked at me and said, "Man, she's like one of us." Like, she was so good with that animal. The mom said she was going to wait for her husband to get back. He's in the military. They were going to wait a couple weeks, so they were just going to put a deposit. They ended up taking the snake. She was so excited.
That is awesome.
It's about that right there. That interaction with a 7-year-old, 6-7-year-old little girl who was so excited to get her first hognose snake. And you see that here at the shows, and that's what we're here for. We're watching, there's a little kid right here behind us that's petting a lizard. Yeah. Those are the ones that we need to hook right now. We need to get,
of course,
the kids involved, but more with the kids involved than the parents get involved. Yeah. And, when I've had adults walk up and be like, you can actually breed these things? Yeah. Like that, they'll do that? And that's cool to hear and get the right questions. Like you said, people are asking the right questions. Bioactive. That's huge. So much fun. Yeah. So it's exciting. I think it's an exciting time. We just all have to learn, how to adjust to it.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing this, buddy. We'll talk again soon.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
All right, I'm Mike from Beachside Chameleons.
Hell yeah, Mike. The last time that I saw you, obviously I saw this awesome display. This is the first time I'm actually doing one of these standing up, so it's kind of cool. The last time I saw you, I saw these awesome displays. You got a lot of chameleons, but you also had a carpet python.
Oh, yeah.
So it was a beautiful carpet python. It sold in a flash. What's up with your carpet pythons?
I'm about to have eggs in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Gamma, diamond, jungle, jags.
Oh, damn, dude. Is that like specifically what you look for? A lot of gamma stuff?
Yeah, I do gammas and just other carpets mostly, but yeah, everything pedigree. So.
Okay, did you see the diamond python that's hanging out?
No, I didn't see it yet.
So Valhalla has a diamond python hanging out
over
there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, awesome.
They also have like green trees and stuff. But let's talk about your chameleon setup. So where did you come up with the idea to like set up the displays? Is this something that you just had in your brain space?
Yeah. Yeah, but I just kind of modified it, Okay. Just kind of went with it and make little modifications as needed.
Cool, yeah. I'm always big on finding creative ways to display stuff at these shows. Mm-hmm. I'm not a huge fan of a bunch of like deli cups and stuff like that myself. So whenever I come to shows and I see a great display, I always have to like talk about it. It's really impressive. I saw somebody walking out with an enclosure like this. Do you also sell the enclosures?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So pretty much
package deals.
Okay, it's full service. You can buy your baby chameleon, you buy your enclosure. It comes with what are these, umbrella plants?
They're Chevaliers.
Okay. Cool, man. So what are you working with as far as chameleons?
Just Panther chameleons. These are amblyobes. I have rainbows and yellow body, blue bars, red body, blue bar. And I also do Mbonjas. I'm about to have Mbonja babies hatch. So.
Okay. Where are you located?
I'm in Melbourne.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And you're breeding them inside or outside?
What was that? I take them inside and outside, but majority they're inside.
Nice.
So I have cages set up outside, and I'll just move them back and forth.
So for somebody that says, chameleons are difficult. It's for somebody that says, not everybody can take care of a chameleon. How do you deal with that kind of conversation? Do you agree?
I mean, they are work, but anything in life is work. You get a puppy, it's a lot of work. And I've had people that have never had reptiles be successful with chameleons. Yeah. I offer everyone my technical services, so people text me, I'm right there to help them. So.
Hell yeah. So what's exciting for this upcoming year other than your carpet pythons?
Oh man, I'm excited about the carpet pythons. That's it's been a long time coming, 5 years almost I've been raising them. So that and just got a bunch of babies hatching. So. Yeah.
So mainly chameleons, carpet pythons, anything else?
No, that's all I'm working on right now. Okay. Yeah, limited on space. I got the diamond carpets, I do jungle carpets. Yeah, the diamond jungle crosses. Yeah, just...
You keeping them inside or?
Yeah, they're all inside.
Okay, racks or like?
No, I have 4 foot, big 4 foots.
Nice.
Okay. But I keep my babies and I got racks for the babies and stuff. Yeah. But the adults now I use the 4 foot by 2 foot. I can't stand keeping everything in little. Like you said, even it kills me coming to some shows and seeing.
Yeah, I get it.
But it's part of it.
Hell yeah! All right, where can people find you?
I'm in Melbourne. I mean, I'm online, Facebook, social media. Beachsidechameleons.com is my website. So
hell yeah, dude. All right, buddy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, Eddie. You're closing the show. You're closing the show with me.
Oh shit, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. I saved the best for last. Listen,
I like it.
The first thing we got to talk about. You're changing your name. You're on your 4th or 5th name now. You were Serpentera, then you were a lizard man, but then you realize I have more than lizards. And now you are identifying as what's the name?
I am Eddie Soto Exotics.
Eddie Soto Exotics. That's the final.
That's final.
Okay.
And the reason for that is people know me as Eddie.
Okay.
My name has surpassed the gimmick, and it got to the point where people were coming up to me and they're like, "Hey, Eddie, have you heard of this Serpentera Exotics guy? He breeds similar things to you." And then I was like, "That's me." Oh, I had no clue that you had a name. I thought you were just Eddie.
So, like, people would find you on Facebook and on Instagram and stuff like that, and they would see, like, the connection?
So people at the shows would know me.
Yeah.
But they would, because I'm lazy, I would never have like, right now, I don't have any banners up.
Yeah.
So they would come up to me and they would go, "Hey, have you seen this guy? Like, he's got, like, the same shit you do."
Yeah.
And I don't post myself on social media.
Yeah.
It's always my hands.
True.
Like, whenever I'm on your show, that's as much as you're gonna see of me. Like, I will never post.
So they see the tattoos, they're like, "Yo, this guy even has the same hand tattoos. It's crazy."
Years ago, when I used to breed ball pythons, someone found me at a reptile show, and they told me they recognized my hands, my tattoo hands.
That is weird.
That was pretty weird. Yeah.
That is weird.
It was creepy. And back then, I only had this. I didn't have everything else, so it was just this, and they recognized that.
Okay. Cool. All right, so Eric, whip out the thing.
Damn.
Take out the thing.
Eric's
Let's do
a little
this.
young for me.
Listen. So you just got a bunch of cool animals, and Eric has one of them that he's going to send to you.
He did.
I want to know more about him. He's bringing it out.
He's taking his time.
Yeah,
too.
he's taking his sweet time. All right.
Am I going to hold it, or is he going to hold it? You going to hold it?
I'm not holding shit.
Were you afraid?
No, I just don't want to get scratched. All right, we got a Chinese water dragon. Eddie, you have like 38 of them now.
I don't have 38, so I have a 1.9.
Okay.
Well, now I have a 2.9.
Okay.
So these guys did go CITES, so they are no longer coming into the country.
Okay.
So this animal was a very underappreciated, a very undervalued animal that would come in by the thousands and sold for nothing. Yeah. And no one really cared about them. No one ever really put any efforts into them. There are a few people, like Alex Agamids.
Okay.
I think it's Alex Myers. And he was really the only one like really focusing on them, where everyone else was just ignoring them. I've had them on and off, and this was just a good time to really jump into them. And I've been breeding the Australian water dragons for about 5 years now. So, been there, done that. There's probably more Australian water dragons in the country than there are the Chinese water dragons. I would say so.
That's crazy.
I would say so. Captive bred especially. Well, there's only captive bred Australians, but the thing is, people took this animal for granted, and if it died, I'll buy another one for $10 the next time they come into the country.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have that opportunity anymore. So I'm splitting up my group And I'm going to do a...
like 1.4, 1.5?
I'm going to do two groups, yeah. So 1.4 and another group of 1.5. And we'll see how it goes. I want to make sure that we keep the species alive and that I can actually have some diverse selection for people.
Okay. Now, what are you going to do differently for these than you do for the Australian water dragons?
I am housing them identical. And I actually am housing them in the same situation, same enclosure, just obviously they're just not in the enclosures with them.
Yeah.
The only difference is during the winter, I am going to have to bring these guys indoors. They don't really take anything below 55.
Okay.
It's bad news for these guys. Whereas the Australians, it can't get cold enough in Florida for them. Mine are outside all year round. These guys are going to have to come inside at some point during the cold season.
Okay. Are you gonna build similar enclosures inside?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I really don't want to stress them out. I don't want to keep them in like a small situation.
Yeah.
I do have some animals that they are indoor, outdoor. Like, oh, it's a great day. Let me throw it outside. Oh, it's too cold. They got to go back in. Like, I do that with some of them.
Yeah.
This is an animal that once it gets cold, I am gonna probably just, okay, now you're indoors until spring.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, that's exciting. You're always getting into new projects, always producing. I mean, you said, what was it that you said that you try to produce 3 new species?
I try to produce, my goal is to produce 5 species a year. 5 new species a year.
Okay.
I am already at 8 for the year.
And what are they?
Different lacerdas, different geckos.
Well, you had those big ones, the ones that we took the video of the.
So the Galoshias.
Yes.
Yeah. The Canary Island lizard. So I have one that just laid eggs. Mr. Eric, take your creature.
Yeah. But he's like, they're not talking about me anymore.
Yeah, they're not talking about water dragons anymore. But it's actually a very tame animal. Eric did a very good job with this animal.
Did he tell you the story about this?
He did.
Okay.
It came in like shit.
Well, it came in that it was somebody's pet, and the cat got to it.
The cat did this.
Yeah, the cat did that, and the cat did all this.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what was up with that.
Good job, Eric.
Yay, Eric. All right, so the Grand Canary...
So the Grand Canary Island lizards, the Galoshias, they're actually a very cool species that really no one's really working with. They're very similar to lacerdas as far as their look, but as far as like how they act, they're actually very different.
Really?
So like my lacerdas are all like insect eaters, like strict insect eaters. I mean, they'll occasionally get some like rapashi and a little bit of fruit, but it's really not their choice. Like they really don't, it's like their backup. Like, oh, I guess I'll eat this.
Okay.
Whereas the Galoshias, they're more like a blue tongue. I'm giving them salad diets, like mixtures of like kale, collard greens, turnip greens, shredded carrots, strawberries, a little bit of pineapple, and I'm actually giving them like the rapashi grub pie.
Yeah.
And then I will throw in the occasional like superworm, large cricket, sometimes pinky. But no, they're really cool. And the bigger species, the Thylacine, actually like squeaks, like it like vocalizes.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I already have eggs from one species.
Okay.
So, which is really cool.
Now, honestly, when it comes to being a reptile breeder, and I know that the ongoing joke for all of us is we call you the local legend or whatever, but for real, I think that you really do encapsulate what it is to be a reptile breeder. You produce, it's just you really are like producing I'm not going to say you're producing a lot of stuff because of numbers, but you're producing a lot of species. You've done a lot of stuff. Is there something that you've been actively working on that you haven't been able to figure out? That you're like, yo, why? This is the one that's biting at me. Like, why can't I do this?
That's a good question. Damn.
Yeah, it's just every time we talk, there's always something new that you're doing. There's a new tortoise. There's a new this. You're like, oh, I just produced this. But like, what's the one that you're like, yo, like, I've had this for a long time, or I had to let this go because I just couldn't get the thing.
Honestly,
ball pythons.
No, that I closed my eyes and didn't even try and they bred.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna say the jewel lacerda, only because I've been breeding them on and off for like over 10 years, and I never had the recipe to do it consistently. And for 10 years, I had this idea in my head of how I wanted to keep them outdoors. And now that I'm able to do it, I cracked the code on it, and I've been doing it consistently now. since I had them in my new situation that they're in.
Really?
So I've had this idea for just years and years and years how I would do it.
Is that like private information or is it?
No, it's not private information.
Okay, so
it's so basically like they do need to be brumated.
Okay.
But Mr. Eddie Soto likes his house warm. So like they were never being brumated correctly.
Because you had them indoors.
I had them indoors, yeah. And where I was living before, I really couldn't do them outdoors. I was living in a homeowners association.
Gotcha.
So I had to be very private and careful how I was keeping animals. But now where I live, I can do whatever the hell I want. But again, I've always had this idea of how I would keep them if I did it.
Okay.
As far as something that I really just could not do it and I actually gave up on, it was the Musobi gecko, Paradora musobi. And I gave up on them for 2 reasons. One, I couldn't get them to breed, and second, they were just a boring animal. Like a very boring animal, so I just got rid of them.
All right.
And I actually do regret that just because they're gone now. You can't find them in America.
Yeah.
But that's a really good question. If I could think more, there would probably be something else, but that was pretty much...
Oh, yeah.
Yoshii with the hard questions.
Let's go! I keep it real for the local legend. But Eddie, thank you so much. This was the Reptiles With Podcast.